about the time we faced them.
All right. Well, as I remember.
At Avenger headquarters.
Because united, the Avengers are strong.
Welcome to the Marvel D&T Evolution podcast with myself, Andy Stead.
And I'm Jarian Gibson.
And I'm Alex Stroud.
And we have got a guest on with us today, a special guest host. We have got the RMC, or otherwise known as Ransom. How we doing, mate?
I'm great. How are you guys? Well, I'm sick. I'm just heavily medicated. No way I was missing today.
We're all good. We're all good. So I introduced you as the RMC, and I love how the fact that on my screen I can see it. It says the RMC. That's great. I absolutely love that. When we first met and we was part of the group, you know, you come on and your Facebook page was your Facebook name was RM Carr, wasn't it? And I'm always going to call you RMC. And that's what we called you before you was brought in. That's what we called you. And then it was like, no, my name's Ransom. I was like, I'm going to stick with the RMC. I think it sounds really cool.
If it sticks, it sticks.
It sticks, mate. Good to have you on. We've brought you on for a special reason, and that's to talk about our friend Logan. It's going to be fun. We're not going to decide where we're going to go with this conversation. We're just going to see what happens. So when we get round to that bit, obviously that's over to you. You're the sort of Logan, the local Logan expert. So we'll probe your mind. But in the meantime, we are live again. This is our new sort of format that we're going with, being live on our Facebook group. And where else, Jarian? Tell these people where they can find us.
Yeah, so they can find us at our Facebook group, our Facebook page, our Twitter, and our Twitch as well. And we still have some things to work out with Instagram, but possibly we'll be going on Instagram live in the future. So
nice, excellent. I'll try not to glitch out today, but I can't promise anything.
Well, hopefully that settings change that I did will help with that. So we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully. Yeah, fingers crossed. But so before we get started on the cup, we've got a couple of news items. But before we get started on that, let's see. First of all, we've obviously got Jamie. Jamie's there. Hello, Jamie. How you doing? And Lisa's there again. So hello, Lisa. How are you? It's good to see you guys. If anybody else is thinking about jumping on, jump on, say hello, drop us a message. What we've been up to this week, I've got to show you this because I've been waiting for this. So I've got my Winter Soldier Year of the Shield.
Absolutely love that Funko. It is so awesome.
It is cool. I haven't taken him out of the box yet. I was going to do it now, but we'll see. I might not. I might leave him up there for a little while. But, he will come out of the box. I promise. He will come out of the box. Anybody else been up to any? Jarian, have you built that hammer yet?
No, I haven't built the hammer yet, but I did get the Captain Marvel and Maria Rambeau in the Asus Lego. I don't have it in my office up here, but it's down at the house, so I got that. It was one of those Comic-Con special Lego sets. It was out of the box, so I built it. So that's what I got this week, and I bought in some more Lego stuff, some other older stuff like the mini micro Legos, all the Marvel ones. I finally got all those collected. And so just going through that and trying to get that situated.
I saw something the other day about a Spider-Man with pointy legs, with pointy sort of trousers on, saying that a Spider-Man minifigure was a really rare minifigure.
Yeah, there's a couple ones. There's a Spider-Man one. There's, I think, a Spider-Woman one, a Daredevil one. There's a Duck Spider-Man or a Duck Daredevil one, I think. And then you have ones like they're like Comic-Con sets are really expensive ones. There's an Ant-Man one and the Wasp where it's like just Ant-Man's giant head and his shoulders, and then the Wasp minifig. I don't have that one yet, but I was able to get two ones that are pretty hard to get. There's the Rocket Raccoon one in a ship. I got that one in the box, still sealed. And then the big one out there is the Ultron's throne with the Ultron bots from Age of Ultron. I got that in the box sealed as well. And then of course I have last year's Taskmaster with Red Guardian and Black Widow from the Black Widow movie as well, and those are all staying in the box. I'm not opening those ones.
Nice.
I always keep mine in the box.
Yeah, those Comic-Con ones and those rare minifigures, I keep those in the box. But unless they're already open, then I'll just build them and display them. So got to figure out the Lego area still in the house before my wife goes crazy because I keep buying Legos off eBay and from Facebook's pages and just looking at all that kind of stuff. So I gotta get the build area all ready to go because I have like stacks of boxes of Legos now just sitting downstairs.
Yeah, you need to buy another house to build all this Lego. Or you could build a house out of Lego. Did you see that? Did you ever see that program where the guy
Yeah.
built a house out of Lego? That was amazing.
So,
yeah.
There's
plan
actually a composite material you can actually do that now.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
yeah,
my
why
plan
not?
is to put some shelves up here in my office and display like the hammer, the gauntlet, the helmets of like Iron Man's helmet, Venom, and then Carnage as well. But then they're supposed to come out with more of those like that also because I saw them, they've gone pretty far on the Star Wars ones. There's supposed to be some more Marvel ones as well. And then I found a site that I think I showed you guys in the chat that someone has custom ones. So they have like Star-Lord and Thanos and Gamora and Spider-Man. And so even a Groot one as well. So I might have to get the instructions and then find the bricks on Bricklink for those ones.
Nice. Yeah, there's lots of really cool Lego stuff out there.
Yep.
Lisa's just said that she wants a Winter Soldier Funko for Mother's Day. Yeah, there's a really rare one out there, isn't there, Alex? There's a really rare Winter Soldier, I think. I'm not sure. I think it's the one from Civil War with the whole mask on his face. Yeah.
I think I have that one. Is that
You've
the one
got
I have?
that. He's checking.
Let me check my
Funkos, Alex? Are you Funkoed up this week?
Actually, so I actually bought, kind of strangely, I found one of, I think it's Thor 332. It's like one from Thor Ragnarok where he's like, basically like the lightning's going around Thor. He doesn't have his hammer and his eyes are glowing in the dark. I found that on Facebook Marketplace. And then I was in a comic store here. Ended up finding like all of the 80 years X-Men that I was missing from my set, like of the 5, like I was missing Marvel Girl, Cyclops, Beast, and who am I missing?
Iceman, Angel.
Yep. Well, Angel, yeah, that's who I'm missing. But I had Iceman, so like I ended up finding those 4, and they were only like $4.99 a piece. So I bought them all because they were on clearance. So I was like, cool. So
and I think, like you said, didn't you? With that post what you put up, you said, "Oh, I wasn't a massive fan, but when they're all together, they look great."
Yeah,
and
they really do.
Exactly it. Yeah, when
they do.
Together, they look really cool together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. No, I like that.
And the Angel Funko, I really like the way that one looks with the wings, and I don't know, like I just not a big fan of like really that style, but like you said, they look so amazing together. Yeah.
Hopefully, Angel gets some better service in the MCU than he did in the Fox X-Men movies because we saw a blip of him in that. So
yeah.
So that Funko you were talking about? Oh, go ahead.
No, so we've never seen much of him, have we? Really?
Yeah.
Even in the
Last Stand.
Yeah. But then the other one as well, because he was in the other one, wasn't he? As Archangel, because he was one of the Horsemen for
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And even that, he didn't get much in that, did he? So no,
too cool of a character to waste like that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, agreed. Go on. What was you going to say, Jarian?
So that Winter Soldier with the full mask is 44.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually have that one in the collection.
Nice.
And then the other one is partial mask is 43, which I have that one as well. So those are the early ones. I have a ton of the early ones, which are sitting in the closet downstairs in my basement.
You've got to get them on display, Jarian. You've got to get them on display. Maybe Lisa can buy one off you. Maybe Lisa can buy one off you. You have to ship it to the UK, but. Right, okay. Let's stop talking about all the money that we've spent on merchandise over the last couple of weeks or years, if in your case, Jarian. What we got news-wise, Jarian, before we move on to talking about Logan?
Yeah, so we finally have some closure to the Netflix Marvel TV shows. It looks like on March 16th they will all be dropping on Disney Plus. So the whole thing about Hulu and Star and that kind of stuff, and that rumor new platform doesn't appear to be happening at this time. What's going to happen is they're going to put some new parental controls on Disney Plus, and those shows will be on their uncut on Disney Plus. So we're going to see the full gamut of the Defenders, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil and Punisher all on there. So, which leads to what's that going to happen in the future? There has been things about where the Deadpool stuff be on there. When they come, when, there's the Punisher's rumor coming back and getting some new stuff. Rumor new Daredevil series. So all that stuff should be coming on Disney Plus, and you'll have newer parental controls. I know with Canada they already had the announcements. And it looks like possibly in other countries they might land on Star. They have Star for their more adult content, but it looks like in the U.S. it's going to be on Disney Plus with more parental controls, which is what Chapek has said. He wants more adult content on Disney Plus, and so this sets up a lot of things going forward for more of the darker properties, more of the adult properties, and so forth. Another thing to add, I don't know if we talked about this last week, but speaking of the Netflix Marvel shows coming to Disney Plus, there is a picture of Christian Ritter out there dressed up as Jessica Jones. So a lot of people not sure what that means. Is she filming some kind of cameo? Is she going to be back in some form? There is the rumors about her coming back to the MCU as Jessica Jones, and all the rumors out there that John Bernthal will be back as well. It looks like we're going to get everyone back from the rumors except for Finn Jones and Michael Coulter. So,
as it should be.
They get a really raw deal, don't they? Nobody seems to like him.
Well, Michael Coulter, I liked him.
I didn't mind him at all. It was Finn I didn't care for.
Yeah.
My only complaint about Coulter was I wanted someone more buff. Like if, say for example, if Michael Clark Duncan was still alive, I think he would be a better Luke Cage Power Man type person. That's my only thing. Michael Coulter is a big person, but he's more slender than he is built, which is what Power Man Luke Cage is.
For me, he didn't have the not rugged. That's not the sort of the facial structure for it. He was too sort of, his face was too nice. Do you know what I mean? He needed that harder sort of
too pretty.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, I mean that's a compliment.
Maybe he needs like a chiseled jaw almost. Like kind of like somebody really ripped, like massive.
That's why I wouldn't mind seeing like a Michael Clark Duncan type because yes, he's passed away, he's gone, and today if he still was alive, he'd be older. But that shape, that build, I think is the perfect type of build for a Luke Cage role.
Yeah, I noticed a big difference in budget. It seemed to me from Daredevil, Punisher, they got the budget. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, not so much, and it showed. I mean, they were great shows, but I saw a difference.
Yeah, my biggest issue with the shows was with Finn Jones's fighting.
Yeah,
I don't. There's different rumors out there. I don't know because it was him. He wasn't training properly.
That's what I've always heard.
The cheapness, or he just didn't have all the money to get him trained properly. But Jessica Hennick or Jessica H, who played Colleen Wig, her fight scenes were great though. So I don't know where the breakdown was, but Finn Jones's fight scenes were just terrible in my opinion.
Everything I heard was about him refusing to train.
Yeah, that makes sense because with Jessica doing pretty well in her fight scenes.
And if you look at, I know it's slightly different, obviously, but there's a behind the scenes montage or documentary of Winter Soldier, and there's images of Chris Evans doing his training and Frank Grillo doing their training, and they were there at sort of 5 o'clock in the morning, going over and over and over and over and over. The amount of work, the amount of work that they put into that elevator scene was just unbelievable. So the dedication it takes to actually get these things right, you need somebody that's going to be that he's dedicated to it and that wants to do it and that will kind of sacrifice. You need
that work ethic. Somebody that cares about what they're doing.
Yeah. Roxy's listening, so hi Roxy, or watching.
Hi Roxy.
Hey Rox.
So the next bit of news, it looks like there is some Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness Funkos that have dropped this week, and it looks like not all of them were shown, but a couple others we might be seeing as well. So there's going to be, I think, at least 4 Doctor Strange Funkos for this movie. We're going to have Doctor Strange, Supreme Strange, Defender Strange, and an Astral Strange for Doctor Stranges. Alex and I were talking and looking some stuff up before we actually came on. So there's also going to be 2 Wongs, it looks like, as well. Defender Wong and a Supreme Wong. Then you're going to have characters like Christine Palmer as one.
Mhm.
You're going to have Mordo. You're going to have Rentra in there as well. But the more interesting one was there's a character called Sarah in there. And Sarah's an interesting one because in Doctor Strange kind of comics and Marvel stuff, there's two Sarahs that stand out. One is Sarah. No, I'm going blank on the last name. The one that you
Wolf?
mentioned.
Wolf.
Yeah, Sarah Wolf, who could be a love interest of Wong, also is an assistant to Strange in the comics. But the other one, which I'm leaning more towards, is
Crowley.
Sarah Crowley. Yeah, Sarah Crowley, because in the comics, that's Mordo's mother in the comics. She's the one that taught him the ways, that kind of stuff. And if you look at, and of course in the comics, Mordo and Crowley are more light complected in the comics, but you've seen they've gone a little bit different ways in the MCU. And the complexion of the Funko is why I think this could be Mordo's mother, because she taught him the sorcerer ways. Of course, in this battle they're going to have with Scarlet Witch and whoever else is behind the scenes here, they're going to need more sorcerers on deck. But Alex, just chatting with before, had a good thought. Maybe they turn her into Mordo's sister for this movie. But I think it's going to be either his sister or his mother, and she'll be an additional sorcerer in the mix. Oh, I also have to mention there's America Chavez as a Funko as well. So it looks like there's going to be 10 to 12 Funkos for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but it was pretty telling that Sarah one slipped because we haven't seen anything about a Sarah in the leaks. I don't think we've seen her in any of the teasers or the trailers. So, Funko's out there showing us something that we haven't seen out in the media before.
And quite often as well, they're not going to make a Funko out of a character that's only in the movie for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Especially if, absolutely no disrespect whatsoever, but I've seen that Funko and she's just a human, maybe a wizard, but it's not like Rintra. Obviously, he might only be in the movie for 5 minutes, but he makes a really interesting Funko, doesn't he? So obviously, this person isn't visually as interesting as a Minotaur or a Senator or whatever it is, but they're obviously important in regards to the movie. So hence why they're making toys and merchandise from that character.
But what I think is really interesting, though, is her outfit is blue, and it reminds me very much of Mordo's in that style of like how a lot of the sorcerers have very similar outfits, but Mordo's kind of stands out. Hers kind of stands out, so it's it's kind of one of those things that makes you kind of wonder a little bit.
Yeah, she's separate from the other sorcerers.
Yeah.
And didn't you say Rentraw is an exclusive one, Alex?
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't find it anywhere but Amazon when I checked recently. So
I saw something the other day on a I think it was on Paul Scardino's Funko group that there was a larger image with the full release, and Renchar looked like he was a bigger.
He's a massive one. Yeah, I think he's like a
10-inch
6-inch.
Or 6 inch?
Yeah, I think he's like a 6-inch because I think the normal ones are like 3.75 inches or something like that. So
yeah.
Which
Cool.
Rentraw's an interesting character too, because we get that one scene from the trailer, but Rentraw has repaired the cloak of levitation before in the comics. He's also an apprentice, I think, to either Wong or Strange in the comics. So I wonder if this is just a setup going forward in this movie, because this is supposed to be a bonkers movie, and I've heard that the ending is going to kind of leave you up for interpretation, kind of confuse how things move forward with certain characters in this film.
I think this whole movie is going to leave us confused.
Yeah. But there's some characters that will be left for debate on what their next role in the MCU will be, and that's all I'll say about that.
Nice. Okay, fair enough. Righto, moving on. What else we got?
That's it for the news. I want to leave plenty of time because I know Logan and talking about Wolverine and all that kind of stuff probably going to take a big chunk of time. So I just picked those two things for the news. It's been quiet. It's been kind of a quiet news week, especially with the Batman releasing and stuff. So on the Marvel side, it hasn't been as busy as past weeks. But one more thing for the news. They did release a teaser today that we are, 60 days, 2 months away from Multiverse of Madness. So
yeah, and obviously we've only got, 3 weeks?
Yep.
3 weeks until Moon Knight. Yep. Or 3 weeks on Wednesday until Moon Knight. So the Marvel world or the MCU world will start picking up again towards the end of the month. But in the meantime, we have to look backwards for stuff to talk about. And what we're going to be talking about today. The whole reason why we bought Ransom, or the RMC as I want to call him for the rest of this show. The whole reason we brought you on is to talk about Wolverine, talk about Logan. So, and I know he's a big, he's your one of your favorite characters, isn't he?
He is my favorite.
Say it how you think, mate. Yeah, he is my favorite. That is it, hands down. Come on, him. Why?
Oh, geez, a million reasons. I mean, all the parallels that I see with him. He's just got that. He's had a lot of tragic things happen to him, but he always keeps going. He's always getting up. He never, even if he knows he's going to get beat, he keeps going. But he's got that rough exterior, that soft interior. There's just a lot of things about him.
It's amazing how, like you said, that soft interior, he's still there after all the things that he's seen.
Yeah, didn't lose his heart.
No, yeah, that's it. And all the horrible sort of wars that he's been through, all those moments, all the people that he's loved that have been killed, and he's still got that. He's still got that inside. I mean, and we'll talk about old Man Logan in a minute, which is obviously like the sort of not the end of Logan as we know, but it's when he's a lot older and he's experienced a lot of things, and he's still got that heart in him even after all of that. What happens? But just not that anybody. Well, you never know. Maybe people are listening that don't know who Logan is. I'd be amazed, but just round off who he is in a minute or so. Like what are his origins roughly, and where did he why is he such a prominent character in the sort of Marvel lore?
I think he was an accident. I mean, he started off as a villain, right? I mean, he was introduced in Hulk to fight the Hulk. People loved him, and they started turning it out, just gave him his own. And I think he's one of the only X-Men to carry his own for that long, isn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's I mean, the X-Men, I mean, it's in the name, isn't it? It's they need other people.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need anybody, does he?
Yeah, he is a bit of a loner too,
Yeah, definitely. So something that is hotly debated is how they're going to bring him into the MCU, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let's talk about what we've seen on screen of Wolverine before we get to that point. So we can go all the way back to, when was it? Was it 99? Was it 99? Was it that late, or was it that early, or was it in the 2000s? No, but it couldn't have been 99.
It may be early 2000s.
Yeah, that's
like
what I think.
2000, 2001 maybe.
Yeah. And we saw the X-Men come on the scene. What did you think when you first saw him in that movie?
I had about like a lot of things, I was a little nervous about the character because he means so much. I thought they'd blow it, but I walked out satisfied, happy, glad to be wrong.
I like that.
But,
do you think
it's the height thing. Everybody throws such a fit. How do you get someone that embodies everything that he is and is also that short, that stocky, that fits every bill? That's almost impossible. So I think they did pretty well. Especially you and I have ran round and round before about Logan's or Hugh Jackman's reputation prior to that, right? How could that guy fit in this character? He made it work. And now when people hear Wolverine, they do think of Hugh.
Yeah,
he's definitely become synonymous with that role.
Sure, absolutely.
I think it was one of those castings that they did a really good job casting on, especially when we look at all the different X-Men characters they've done over the years. I think that's probably one of the best castings they've done.
And when he took it on, he thought they were wolves. He's studying wolves, and they're like, no, it's a whole other animal.
I didn't even know what the animal was. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you know what? He's got better and better at. I think he's got better at being him. I wouldn't say he's got better at. He's not got better acting. That's not what I mean. But he's grown.
I think he understands
he's more
the character.
And more like him. I think he's merged into him because he's played him for so long. He's become him, hasn't he? Like
Absolutely.
I think at the beginning he was acting as him.
Yeah.
And then now he just is him.
He understands who he's supposed to be,
I think he really got it in that scene in whichever X-Men it is where they attack the mansion and he pins that dude up against the fridge and just loses it on that one guy. I think
Yeah.
that's where he was just like 100% in the role at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Full
definitely.
throttle.
Right at the beginning of Old Man Logan, he's getting, beat up on by all of them, and he just goes into that rage
Yep.
and just devours them.
Yeah.
It's I agree with you there, Alex, because I think in the first one, although he was definitely the prominent character in that first movie, he clearly was in the second movie, wasn't he? And
Yes.
then they kind of went, oh well, I guess that's always what happens, isn't it? In movies, they look at what the successes were from the first one, and then they beef that up in the subsequent movies. But he was definitely played upon, and I think that extra little bit of attention gave him what he needed to, what you were saying, Alex, to like really push that role, and then he sort of grew into it a little bit, and
He made it his own.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because if you look at the Last Stand and look at Dark Phoenix or whatever the third one was Dark Phoenix?
Last Stand, the third one.
What was the second one?
X2.
Just X2, X-Men United.
Oh yeah, because the Phoenix one was both in the third one. Yeah. So you kind of look at the second and third one. He kind of took it and was like the leader at that point. Where the first one, there was kind of figuring things out. It was kind of the team coming together. He still stood out, but you could definitely tell in the second and third one that he was the main person. Even when they showed him in the next series of X-Men, right? When the First Class and then the other one after that, his minor part still stood out in those movies. Like when they went to them in the bar, he's like "F off," or when you see them at the lab when he's Weapon X with the goggles on, he still stood out and had a big presence in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that wasn't Hugh Jackman. I don't think in that role. It was just someone else playing that.
As Weapon X.
Yeah, was that him in that or somebody else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not sure. I thought it was him. Oh, that's the first.
I think it was a stunt double, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was too. But even the Jackman Wolverine, that was him though.
Oh,
that still stood out in that role. So
I think as well. Once he's got to that point in his career, he holds that gravitas, doesn't he? It's like what I was saying the other week about Angelina Jolie in the Eternals. It kind of didn't really matter what she did. And I'm not even a massive fan of Angelina Jolie, but actually, she just, and Selma Hayek as well. Like they didn't really have to do anything; they just hold that kind of.
They command respect.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Just when they're on the screen, they've got that star power, haven't they? That newer actors haven't got. And I think Hugh definitely got that as time went on. But something interesting you said there, Jarian, which I want to touch on with RMC about the leadership, Wolverine's leadership. Like, as far as I know, he wasn't always a leader, and even when he was a leader, he was definitely a reluctant leader.
Go.
He didn't want to lead, did he? But he kind of just did because people followed him.
That's something him and Clint have in common. They both don't really see themselves as heroes. They don't really, not wanting to be a role model.
But they always seem to get drug into it, don't they?
Yep.
Absolutely. That no matter how much they try to avoid it, it's going to happen.
And they rise to the occasion too.
Always.
And is that relatability that they've got? They don't put themselves on a pedestal, so they're reachable by people.
They're relatable for sure. The
Do you know
ego's
what I
in
mean?
check. I do.
Yeah.
I
That's
do.
it.
Like Scott. Scott, he can't fit through the door. His head's too big.
Yeah. I'd say you're talking about that relationship. Actually, I wanted to touch on that as well from the comics. There's a proper love-hate relationship between them two, isn't there? Like they've always got respect for each other. And I'll tell you something that I noticed. I was reading Schism. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but there's a fantastic moment in there where they have a conversation, and it echoes the relationship between Charles and Eric, or Magneto. Yeah, so between the two of them, that one of them's got a way of dealing with it, and the other one's got the other way of dealing with it. Neither of them agree with it, but they both respect it, and they both understand that the other person's got value. And I can't remember what the line is. I might actually even go get it. It's just over there. I'm going to have to try and find it and actually read it out. So while I'm doing that then, on the sort of leadership thing, do you think he's got the qualities to lead? Like, generally he's got the qualities to lead, or do you just think that people kind of get what's the word, like caught up in his kind of, I don't know, do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
I think I do.
Yeah, do people just follow him because they're like, wow, look at this guy. He's just doing whatever he wants. Yes, I'm going to lead him. Like, is that a wise idea? That's basically what I'm saying. Is it a wise idea to follow Wolverine, to let him lead you? And while you answer that question, I'm going to go get a book because I really want to find that quote.
All right, copy that.
Go.
See, I feel like it's a bit of both, really. And it also depends on what the mission is, I think he's earned that respect from people. But at the same time, he's he'll be the first in and last out, but he may not be a military strategist type person, right? He may not be the brains of the operation, but he'll get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We've probably all done courses like this. If you've ever worked in like some sort of corporate world, you've probably all done courses where you have to go on like a personality sort of retreat and work out who's got what kind of personalities.
Yeah,
and then. I think the one I did was based around Carl Jung's idea of archetypes or something like that. Basically, there's there's red people, yellow people, green people, and blue people. So blue people are like the sort of they're the numbers people. They're the people that work out the finances. Like if you're planning an event, they'll work out how many people are coming and how many chairs you need and all that kind of stuff, and then how much money you need to put away. Yellow people are the ones that come up with the idea in the first place. They're like really flamboyant and go, oh, well, this would be a great idea. Green people are the ones that kind of look after everybody and say, well, let's include these person. And red people are to get it done. And if you're looking at Wolverine and want to fit him into one of those things, Wolverine's a red person, and Scott is definitely like a blue person. He'll calculate everything, and Wolverine just goes, yeah, whatever. Let's just go and fight.
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking, kid. I'm gonna be over here.
Yeah, you crunch your numbers, the tactics, and I'm off. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. We've broached it there really briefly, but I know something that we've both watched it. So I know we've both read the Wastelanders, which was so fantastic. Good. But that came, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But that came out of Old Man Logan, didn't it?
Sure did.
And Old Man Logan is probably not just one of the best Logan stories. It's probably one of the best modern stories in the comics. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I could not agree more. It's one of my favorites, absolutely. And Hawkeye's also one of my favorites. So when they link up, it's just like it was written for me.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Jarian and H, you've read Old Man Logan, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, most of it. I don't know if
there's
I've read
a lot of them.
Yeah, I've read some of it. Yeah. Yeah, I really like the Hawkeye and Wolverine relationship, even though like Hawkeye's like blonde, that's and like I think he has that line where he's like, oh yeah, well I can hear really well too. So it's like
yeah,
I don't know. But
I would love to see them adapt that onto the screen. But in the adaptation, I want to see them add Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool into it, because this the chemistry between Jackman and Deadpool off the screen, I think they would be fantastic on the screen. And add Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye on there. What we've seen from the Hawkeye series and what we've seen him through all the MCU movies, those three together, like in an old man type series, I would love to see that.
That'd be absolute class.
I could die a happy man.
Yeah. I think just even a one-off movie, just showing that would be brilliant. And you could even do, because in the main arc of the Old Man, Deadpool's a head in a jar, isn't it? In the back of the you could even do it so that he was like their traveling companion across America. So if people
in the jar the whole time,
just being
just talking run his mouth.
So if people haven't read Old Man Logan, go and get Old Man Logan and read it, because it is fantastic. It really is a great story. And actually, there's funny moments in there. There's like harrowing, awful moments in there. There's plenty of violence in there. There's
you can take it a step further and go to Secret Wars, where it all started.
Well,
where the villains won. Mysterio tricked Wolverine with an illusion, and he killed everybody. And that's, that leads into Old Man Logan. He takes a vow of pacifism. And matter of fact, Clint links up with him, finds him, and really didn't realize how serious Logan was about that. He thought he could just talk him right into being old Logan again, and it wasn't that easy.
I found the quote that I wanted. So I won't bother telling you where this comes from, but this is Scott talking, and somebody basically says, something like how useless Logan is to Scott, and Scott says, if I ever hear you belittling Wolverine again, I will personally break you in half. Pray every day, Quentin, that you will someday be even half the man he is. Because as it stands now, I wouldn't take 6 of you on your best day for 1 of him on his worst.
Oh, man. Love that.
And that was my point about showing that utter respect that Scott does have for Logan. Now, he might hate him, and Logan might hate Scott, but they do respect each other.
Absolutely, 100%.
Go on, what's Fred said there?
Yeah, as a Canadian, I really hope they go deep into Wolverine's Canadian origins, past like they did with Widow's family in Russia or Steve for the U.S. Maybe he's the result of Canada trying to get their own super soldier or Smith by using a mutant. I don't know. Which I would love to see that.
Alpha? Alpha Flight?
Yeah. There were several mutants on that team. So
yeah. And with the rumor of a Disney Plus series coming for Wolverine, if they did that kind of backstory and expanded on that, I think that would be a winner right there.
Absolute winner.
And there was a what if comic story about what if Wolverine led Alpha Flight, ironically enough. So
I need to read that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever read that one either.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would love to see him get into Secret Wars, Old Man Logan, Wastelanders. We got to expand Wastelanders. We have to. That's just way too good.
That's a perfect segue there, because that's exactly where I was going with my next question. So obviously Wastelanders is really new, isn't it? It was literally only released in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And we was going back and forth, going, "Oh, I've got the latest one, I've got this one," and I think you was about a week ahead of me. But so they done Black Widow, they done Doom, they done Star-Lord, and who was the other one?
Hawkeye.
Yes, Hawkeye, of course.
And
podcast as well for the
and Wolverine.
Listen to it. Yep.
There is.
Yeah, they did. So they did the audio. And am I right in thinking, because I didn't listen to any of the audio, it was just the book or the comic in audio form?
It basically was, but I thought that I recognized things from Old Man.
Yes, I go back and listen to it because I started listening to it. I didn't finish it yet, and I thought there were some differences there.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure, though.
Okay. And obviously these stories are the people that have survived that initial, what you were saying, that the villains win. And they're set in and around the time of Old Man Logan. I think one of them set after, and I think a couple are set before, and one set 10 years before. I can't quite remember now. I mean, it's only a month ago, but you read so much, you forget. But it's all based around that same post-apocalyptic world. Isn't it?
I love it. I love it.
And
I live in Doomshead, Illinois, by the way.
Oh, do you really?
There's a little map in one of those. I can't remember if it's in Star-Lord or Wolverine, but there's a little map of people's territory. Like Doom's got some, Fisk has got some, Red Skull, Zemo.
Yeah,
they've all got their little territories in the United States.
Yeah, that's in Wolverine. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, that's in Wolverine when he's when Hawkeye's telling him about it, and they're traveling across the because he's never been out of his little area, has he?
Yeah, Clint had to go clear to California to get him.
Yeah, he did, and he didn't even want to leave, did he?
No, it's something about saving him from the Hulks. He needs a bunch of money for the Hulk.
Wasn't it like $500 or something? I mean,
it seemed like a minuscule amount, but
yeah.
In a situation like that, where there are no resources, there's nothing left.
the way, I don't think it's a spoiler to say to people that in the end he does go berserk. That because obviously he starts it out, he promises to not pop his claws and to not be violent, and I don't think it's a spoiler to say that he does. Otherwise,
Yeah.
what are you? What are you? You're not
Be
picking
a long
up
cliffhanger, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
you're not picking up a Wolverine book to not see him use his claws, are you? So,
Exactly.
He does do it, and when he does do it, it is spectacular.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
spectacular. It's exactly what you want from that kind of like no holds barred, bloodshed Wolverine type.
It was worth the wait.
Yeah, it was worth it. So coming out of that then, so I know coming out of that, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't read it, but he has a little friend, doesn't he, when he finishes that, and that little friend actually becomes an adult back in the mainstream of things, doesn't they? When they bring all the universes back together, and he's and then he tries to find his way home, doesn't he? Logan tries to find his way back to that world. I can't quite remember exactly what happens now because I haven't read anything after that about Logan himself. But yeah, that's something that I want to get into. But what I really want to get into, which I haven't, is the death of Wolverine and then the hunt for Wolverine and all of that. That sort of it was about 5-10 years ago, wasn't it? I think that kind of that arc, which I haven't read yet. I don't know if any of you guys have read any of that.
Not enough. Bits and pieces of it, life of and death of. There's a lot of different stories in each.
Yeah. I've not read any of that, and I'd like to get into some of that because, it's that was a bit of a turning point from what I understand for Logan in the modern era, anyway.
Yeah.
So now we've sort of discussed a little bit about his past and a little bit about the sort of comics present and where he's at. How do we get him in? How does he come into the MCU?
I think most of us here are in agreement. He should not just move into the X-Men. He ought to be solo, be a nomad for a while, let the X-Men do their thing, let him come in broken like he always seems to be, and they take him in. And he probably will leave again.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
hold on, you both said so at the exact same time. Go on, Alex, you go.
I was just gonna say, that scene in the comics where like he meets Emma Frost and she's talking about how like the dimensions are like overlapping almost,
Yeah.
I was like thinking about that while I was like reading that, and he like goes back to an earlier point in time and he thinks it's like his timeline. And he's like wanting to cross names off of the people's names on his arm of people that leads to events, And I was like thinking about that, and I was like, wouldn't that be interesting if they kind of like use that as kind of like a segue to bring like old man Logan into the MCU, just to do like a movie or two and have him be like somebody who's just displaced. We never look at another X-Men from another universe or anything else. We just bring him in for like a movie or two, even if it was for like Secret Wars.
That could even be the Disney Plus series that's rumored too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that'd be a great spot for a little intro, and I don't think we need a whole origin story all over again, but, got to introduce him somehow.
Yeah, and I think they're getting quite good at that, aren't they? I think they're getting quite good at not doing an origin story when it doesn't really need to be done.
Not
they
when
just
we've
follow the
seen it
Spider-Man
100
route.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow the Spider-Man route.
And they say in that story too that like the Wolverine of that timeline died, so there could very well be like two Wolverines in the MCU running around at one point if they really wanted to do that.
True.
Yeah.
That's the thing about muties.
Yeah.
So Fred said there, I think an X-Men versus Avengers movie is inevitable somewhere down the line.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, and it'd be great if Wolverine is the in-between third party, like he is in the comic. Yeah, it would be good. Yeah, I think that is inevitable. I agree, Fred, and it's going to be a case of mistaken. You're the baddies. No, wait, you're the baddies. No, hold on, and then it's just that. I don't think it'll be friction like it was the X-Men versus Avengers in the comics. It'll just be mistaken identity.
Not like Tony and Steve when they both think they're right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, well, I don't know. It depends how they bring the X-Men over, don't they? if they bring
So-
him in wholesale.
So
Mhm.
here's my thoughts on Wolverine. If the rumor is true that we are going to see some kind of cameo in Multiverse of Madness, I don't think that should be Hugh Jackman. I think that should be the first mutant, the first official mutant in the MCU, and that should be the one that they're going to use going forward for that casting. And that spins off into the rumored Disney Plus series. That's how I think should be the best way to do it. Only have him there for a while. Maybe start having X-Men pop up, like official X-Men pop up later. But only have Wolverine as the only mutant for a while. Unless, Wanda goes batshit crazy and just says reverse House of M at the end of Multiverse of Madness, and they bring all the mutants in. And they do that way, but if they do it that way, focus on Wolverine for a while. And go that route. Do things differently. Don't just come in with the X-Men. Have him do other stuff, other team ups, and go that route. Even maybe if it's the rumored World Hulk film that's supposed to be coming out, have him part of that maybe even as well.
I love that.
As one route. So there's a lot of ways they can do it, and they have so much flexibility.
Yeah,
Well-
that'd be awesome.
Initially, I did hear, when Doctor Strange was first announced, like a year ago, that he was going to make the appearance. Wanda was going to rip him apart. That'd be that. But then that slowly
Yeah, kind of went.
turned into something else. Yeah.
Or we finally see Magneto do it, since it's been teased so many times in the movies
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Magneto actually do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. And so since we kind of talked about some of the movie stuff, and there's actually a good comment right here. I love to see Wolverine and Daken in live action, so that would be a good one too as well. And there was some that we talked about before, Alex, about this. I think you, Jamie, and I talked about a Daken path as well, with Wolverine also. But since we talked about the different movies with Hugh Jackman and with Wolverine so far on the screen, which one is your best one of all the films of the X-Men? The first piece of the X-Men films, his appearances in the new X-Men films, X-Men Origins Wolverine, the Wolverine, and then Logan. What is your best on-screen one so far of Wolverine?
I like the movie Logan the best, because they reference old man Logan, and it's just a phenomenal movie. But I also like The Path of the Ronin. You know what I mean? When he's Silver Samurai, all that. Yep. That one's pretty good.
I think from an acting point of view, he's at his best in Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've seen him, Hugh Jackman. I mean, better than that in anything that he's been in, including everything that's not Logan either. I think he was absolutely phenomenal in that movie in every way, shape, and form. So I think that in itself, for me, makes that my favourite one. But there's moments in all of the movies where I've loved what he's done. Loved what he's done with it, and obviously he's just been the massive standout from that whole X-Men franchise over at Fox. It's just been he's been the person, hasn't he? What about yours then, Jarian? What's yours?
Let's go first.
Oh, I was just going to mention, I was going to say, it'd be funny if they actually, had Deadpool in a movie and then have him be like, you're not Wolverine, you're not Hugh Jackman, meet Wolverine, in the future. But yeah, I don't know. I think probably one of my favorites would probably be, X2 or something like that. I don't know why. I actually, I like the earlier X-Men movies, I think, better than some of the later ones. So
Daphne Keene is what, 16, 17 now? Maybe a little older?
I think so.
Yeah.
She's like late teens, early 20s, I think.
Okay, perfect time for her to come in and be X-23 and be, it's just the same little girl, but she's all grown up and vicious as ever.
yeah.
Why not? Let her be the same,
I like that. I think she played that role great. And
Absolutely.
back to the question, Logan is probably my favorite of all the appearances of him as Wolverine. I do like some good parts of the Wolverine of Origins, some of the backstory that we got in Origins and that kind of stuff, kind of seeing them throughout. Like, for example, in Origins, we saw them throughout history from the Civil War time to modern times. I love that part of that. And then just looking at the Wolverine when you saw him in the bombing in Japan as well from World War II, and then how that all ties together. Just even that cameo in First Class when he tells him to F off in the bar.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's Wolverine right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I love that. In Origins, and people say about the best part of that movie being the opening credits, where it goes through all the wars that him and his brother, even Lee Schreiber, have been in there. That is cool. Just going on to back to I forgot where I was going for a second there. Back to Logan, and if you haven't seen it, go and check out the trailer for that. That's got the Johnny Cash hurt.
Yes.
Oh man.
That was
It's
a perfect
perfect
song for that.
Just
Absolutely.
masterpiece.
Yep.
That trailer is a masterpiece.
Did it win awards?
What, the trailer or the movie?
No, the movie. The movie.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It might well.
I'm not either.
So
It
here's
should
one.
have.
Someone has some comments on this too. So
Oh,
their
yeah,
favorite was X-Men movie and Days of Futures Past. Yes, he was great in Days of Futures Past as well.
Yeah.
And again, he was kind of the star there. And so I loved how they tied the first set of movies together with the second set of X-Men movies. That was a great way to bring both of those together and kind of show that. And they could possibly do something similar in the MCU through the multiverse or even through Secret Wars, where we do see Hugh Jackman again, but then we kind of see the torch pass to whether it's X-23 Daphne Keane for a while or it's the new Wolverine for the MCU as well. They could do that same kind of thing. But anyways, I'll talk about casting in a minute.
There's room for both.
Yeah,
there's room for both.
Yeah. So I'd love to see something like that as well, how they tie that together. And maybe that does happen in Multiverse of Madness with a cameo or Secret Wars or somewhere else. Now that Andy was going there, let's talk about, since we're getting close to the hour here, let's talk about your fan casting for Logan in the MCU.
Me?
There's no point in me talking.
You
Yeah.
go first.
Oh,
we know Andy's answer.
Yeah, we know. I'm Eastwood all the way. As it relates back to his dad, it's just the perfect fit for me. I've heard some people argue that the acting level, and I'll give that some credence, but it's going to be hard because somebody to fit that bill for everything and also be able to carry an entire franchise.
Now, Eastwood, he was in the first Suicide Squad, right? He was on.
I thought he
Black
turned that down, didn't he?
I thought he turned the sequel down, but I thought he was in the first one. I thought.
I think you're right. He took the first one, turned the second one down because they didn't.
Yes.
Actually, his dad gave him advice to turn it down.
So if that's the same person I'm thinking of, I like the pick, but he reminds me of a Steve Rogers Captain America type. Every time I see that,
yeah, I think I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, he comes off as a Captain America Steve Rogers type.
Yeah,
to me. But I like that pick as for Wolverine as well.
He's even lobbied for it. Talked about how it was his favorite, and like I said, the ties to his dad, how parts of the character were based off of his dad. That roughneck type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in Suicide Squad, and I didn't forget he's in the Fast and Furious franchise as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of the military people, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the. I was just checking here. Yeah, he's a little nobody. So he's Kurt Russell's sort of little supporter. Who said that? That's got to be Jamie that said we know Andy's answer.
So let's go to Alex real quick because we know Andy's answer, and we'll Andy go on his little affair.
I won't say anything. There's no point.
Mine's hard. I really don't know who to cast this person. I've heard people say Keanu Reeves. I don't think it should be Keanu Reeves. I think it needs to be somebody maybe, and this is kind of just what I've seen. I'm feeling maybe like Daniel Radcliffe. I know that's a weird kind of like casting decision.
He has the build for it.
Yeah, and he's got kind of the look, and he could have the look. I just don't know if he could catch like the grittiness of the character.
That's what I'm worried about.
Have you seen,
and then people already have a perception of him from his other stuff,
But then people already.
That's not. Never mind. I'm thinking of the wrong person. Never mind.
People already have a perception of Wolverine as well because it's already Hugh Jackman. So
yeah,
why not cast somebody who's already got another perception of? Do you know what I mean? It's like
I think I do.
It's like casting Mark Hamill as Wolverine. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hold on, he's Luke Skywalker. He can't be Wolverine as well. And it's like, well, actually, they've both got identity problems. So, but have you seen Guns Akimbo?
No.
With Daniel Radcliffe in it. Check it out. It's pretty mental, but he gets a bit of a grittier edge then, Daniel Radcliffe. And have you seen Escape from Pretoria as well. That's got Daniel Radcliffe in it as well, and he's good in that. So he is good, but I don't know whether he can shake that Harry Potter vibe.
Yeah,
Pattinson just did it with Batman.
And I'm
I
hearing great things
mean,
about the Batman.
I had my doubts, and I walked out
Yeah.
of there, happy to be wrong.
I even
Jamie
liked Affleck as Batman, so.
Oh my god!
I
Skip
did.
over that. Skip over that. No, actually, I didn't mind him either. Jamie said Taron Egerton.
That's not bad either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kevin already knows. I think he knows who he wants.
Yeah, definitely.
So, since we know, someone's saying here they never considered Daniel Radcliffe, but they could see it. So, I actually don't have a favorite. I could see Andy's favorite. I could see Zac Efron. I actually like Zac Efron, and he can play different roles, and he can bring the comedy side. He can bring the serious side.
I see him as Gambit. I like him as Gambit.
He could be a Gambit too. I never thought of Daniel Radcliffe in the role, so that one's interesting to me. The Eastwood I like, but the Eastwood like I said, he's a Steve Rogers, Captain America type to me. Every time I look at Eastwood, Egerton, I do like that one as well. I actually don't have a favorite for it. I kind of just want to see who they pick for that role. I do not want to see Keanu Reeves in the role.
No.
I don't think that's a role for him. I think anything for Keanu Reeves in the MCU should be on the darker side. A Dracula's son, that type of role. Even if they bring Mephisto or Blackwater to the screen, Blackheart to the screen, that type of role.
I don't
Keanu
think
Reeves.
he can be a human as such, Keanu
Yep.
Reeves. Do you know what I mean? Or a mutant. He needs to be somebody.
He could even be Nightmare.
Yeah, Nightmare even.
Nightmare would be good. Yep.
Chithon,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
so
always
there-
thought he'd be good in Mephisto, but I do like Nightmare. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
But he needs to be on the dark side. I don't want to see him in a Punisher role or a Wolverine
No,
role
God,
or anything
no.
like that. I want to see him on the dark side of
Yeah.
the MCU.
I think the Ghost Rider Wolverine stuff, that ship sailed. It's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's speaking of Ghost Rider, the rumor out there, it seems like they have settled on Reedus.
Yep.
Yep. Disney Investor Day. Here to close things out too, since we're getting close to the hour. So I'll share one more tidbit, and then I'll get back to Andy here. We are having Disney Investor Day this week, it sounds like. So we're probably going to get a bunch of new announcements this week. But the rumor that I am hearing is that Reedus is the Ghost Rider. I don't know which one. My guess is probably Blaze or Ketch.
Probably.
But I definitely, it's not going to be Reyes. But it looks like they have settled on Norman Reedus for Ghost Rider.
Fair enough. Right, let's wrap that up then. That's RMC. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. It's been a long time.
Absolutely a pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, and next
I'm
time
I'm a little under the weather today. I'm just heavily medicated, so apologize, but I appreciate
great.
it. No way
Great.
I was missing it.
Didn't notice.
And when they get Wolverine casted in the MCU, Logan, or any kind of announcements, we need to have you back on to discuss that. 'Cause I know you're going to have some thoughts and some good input on that.
Yeah,
I'll have plenty to say.
Thank you to Roxy and Lisa and Jamie and Fred for listening in. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your input as always, guys. Thank you, Jarian and Alex, as well for your insights. Always good to hear from you, lads. Next week we've got a guest on, and we're doing something. Well, it's totally different. It's almost like completely the opposite of what we always do, and you'll understand that in the week. Keep your eyes on the group. We've got a giveaway going on this week, and we'll announce the winner on next week's show. So keep your eyes on the group. Get listening to the previous podcasts. One more time, where can they find all of our shows, Jarian?
The Facebook group, the Facebook page, Twitch, our Twitter account. That they're all out there.
Nice.
And hopefully soon, still looking at it, but hopefully Instagram Live as well. But
Excellent.
the replays are also available in the group on our. We're streaming to YouTube as well. I keep forgetting YouTube. We're streaming to YouTube as well. The replays of video will be on YouTube, will be on Twitch, and will be on our Instagram. The audio will be on Buzzsprout, but also out to your podcast listening place, so you can find the audio or the video somewhere. We always share links to the group.
Nice one. It's been a pleasure, guys. Take care.
Love it.
See
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, before I go,
Oh.
got to give you these, right?
Ah, nice.
All right.
See you later.
Now.
Why don't you tell them about the time we faced